My name's Aaron Cairo. I'm a sponsored skateboarder from the San Francisco Bay Area, and today I'm going to teach you how to skate a rail for beginners. We're going to cover both the easiest and the hardest trick on a rail. And this might not be everybody's perception of what is the hardest trick on a rail, but it's certainly mine. So I'm going to cover the easiest trick, and then for the hardest trick, we're going to use professional skateboarder Manuel Mowgli Herrera.
Yes, sir. Let me move the rail into the...
Okay, so the absolute easiest trick for all beginners on any rail is a backside board slide. That means that the object is towards your back, and you're going to do a 90-degree ollie and jump onto that. So first, before you learn this, you should have ollies down, and you should have some semblance of frontside 180s down. Like, you should have ollies and frontside 180s. We'll just go ahead and say that whole thing, because basically what you're doing is half a frontside 180, landing on the rail, sliding, and then either going off to what's called fakie, which is all the way around to the 180, or back to regular. So your absolute easiest way to do this is to ollie up, turn your head, put your feet across, land 90, and then land back to regular. That is the backside board slide to regular, absolute easiest trick on a rail. And I'm gonna explain that further because your skateboard has many spaces here. It has the trucks, which is pretty skinny. They're also metal, and metal on metal can be tricky. It has the tail, which is not that big. It has the nose, which is a little bigger than the tail, but still tricky. And the front truck, which is, you know, not that, it's kind of a small graining space, but the middle, look at that. Look at how much real estate we got there. We got a lot going on. So your ability to have a rail and then you pop and land, you could land here, 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 or anywhere and still do a board slide. That makes it the easiest to get on for beginners because as a beginner skateboarder, you're just starting to learn. Your control is not super great, so you gotta start somewhere. Probably the easiest thing to learn a board slide on would be a parking curb, but we got right here a nice, easy little low rail, and we're gonna start at just doing a little bit of it. So I'm gonna run you through these steps right here, right now, just like it says in that one song. There's not too many practice steps you can really do other than maybe jumping and like bailing off your skateboard and trying to put it over the rail, kind of like this. Like if this was a ledge, I would say go slow and ollie onto it. But the thing about a rail, this thing's slippery. You know, Glowboarder waxes this thing. It's wild. I've been skateboarding for 28 years. Let's see if I can go slow and ollie on the rail. Okay, kind of. But would I recommend you do that as a beginner? No, not really. What I would recommend you do though is pick a small section of it, maybe like that much. Just right at the end. And there's some key components I'm gonna go over. First things first, wear a helmet, elbow pads, knee pads, especially a helmet, because one thing that can go wrong on this is if you get into the board slide and you're not quite steady, you're leaning back, your board will shoot forward and you can fall back, and you could even fall back and hit that rail. So protect your noggin, it's only smart. So you're gonna pick a really small part of the rail and you're basically gonna just ollie on and do the ever so smallest board slide. You ready? Just like that. Now, I didn't even really do a 90. I kind of did like an 87. It's like that, and it's just like, eh, and then turn off right away. There's a couple things that does. Builds your confidence, and you also learn how to get off the rail, nice and easy. Again, a little demonstration. Push up to it. Very, very small. That is the best practice step. And then from there, it's just simply going faster, sliding further, getting comfortable. But once you do the smallest little piece, you can build it up from there. It's a little easier and it builds on top of your confidence, right? So that is the regular backside board slide, the absolute easiest trick. Now I'm gonna go to fakie, show you some variations. Oh yeah, this girl is on fire. Okay, so earlier I mentioned that you should learn how to ollie. That's pretty obvious why. And also frontside 180. So let's say I have the rail there and I can almost take it like an imaginary rail and I can frontside 180. Now, the rail is basically just like an interim period in the middle of your frontside 180. So you're basically doing all of the same motions. You're turning your head and shoulders, pop, turn your board, sliding, continue turning your head and shoulders, and then land fakie. It feels almost just like a frontside 180. So if you have your frontside 180s down, you know, roll up next to the rail and frontside 180. Easy breezy, beautiful, cover girl. Easy, right? And that takes us into the hardest trick on a rail ever, the 50-50 grind. It's so scary. So in order to 50-50 a rail, first start out by 50-50ing a ledge. Is that right? I look to my professional.
Do you want me to go there?
Yeah. So if I was gonna start out by 50-50ing a rail, I would start out with a ledge and just skip rails. Bad joke?
No, you're right.
There's two ways to 50-50 a rail. Some people lock in like that. It's feel like it's important to understand where your trucks are on the rail. Sometimes it's there, and then other people do what's called this cross lock, which is just some wild wizardry. A 50-50 is where you have both trucks, front truck and back truck, and I'll demonstrate it from the side here. So you're either locking in there, or sort of crosswise like that. People call it the cross lock. Both of them are good, but if you get into like a really good solid cross lock, I feel like you're in there forever.
I think the crosslock works best when your trucks are loose.
Yeah?
Because like your wheel just pinches to the wood, like where it would
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
essentially just get that
Wheel
wheel
bite.
style. Yeah.
Okay, so what would you tell them? Like, what are the steps to 50-50 a rail?
Well,
Just jump into it and pray that you're okay? Wear a helmet?
Make sure you're confident.
How do you make sure you're confident?
You go to the curb.
Go to the
is-
curb, that's right.
The curb is the #1 thing to gain all your confidence.
Truth.
If you could lock into a 50-50, like 5 to 10 tries, like a majority of them,
Yeah.
I'd say then your aim for this rail is right.
And so when I was explaining like the board, you have tons of space here. Lots of space to slide. On the truck, you only got that much, and not only you have to that much for one truck, but you have to hit it the other side too. So you get in there, and would you tell them to maybe stand on it like this? This is so deadly. Never do this at home. So that's the cross lock.
Do you feel comfortable?
Yeah,
What are you doing right now?
balancing.
But
Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
As you're balancing, what's the one thing you notice?
I'm terrified.
No. What are you doing?
Balancing.
You're on top of the rail.
Cheat codes. Oh,
You
yeah,
wanna
yeah.
be on top of the rail. Like when you get on,
Yeah, get
you
on top
can't
of
just
the
be
rail.
like, I'm a 50-50 and get in like this.
See, that's what, I don't skate rails much, and when I don't skate rails much, I definitely don't 50-50. I like to take things on a gradient, as you know, so sometimes for rails, that can be bad, because I do want to jump on to the side and sort of be ready to bail, and then I just fall and hit my noggin on the toboggan. Whoa! Now I'm gonna try and do the not crosslock way. This thing is so waxed. Yeah, like that. I feel less stable like that than the crosslock. But I also have never like ollied into a good crosslock.
I mean, standing on it like cross-locked and then trying to get off, it really helps because getting off of the rail is sometimes the hardest part.
I usually would just go to the end of the rail, I guess, with a lot of speed. Dang, let's see if I can do that. This is Aaron Cairo live skate support. Let's get that pinch. So if I land this right here, I'm the goat.
Yep.
Oh, goated.
One thing I will say, depending on what you're comfortable, this is different than a backside board side. You might be more comfortable jumping into a 50-50 backside
Really?
than front side. This one is preference, I believe. Like, I truly believe that if you feel comfortable like doing the ollie into the 50-50 backside,
Yeah.
that might be your route. But if you feel more confident the rail being in front of you, then frontside 50-50 might be the route to do it.
Yeah. And just like anything, it's practice and lots of practice and perseverance. You're not gonna just start on day one and go into a rail and get this. The 50-50 on a ledge would probably be your most basic trick. Probably even easier than board slide. It's very stable, you're locked into the ledge. Now on a rail, it's not though. It's very tricky. Can you explain why it's so tricky?
It's tricky because it's round. Even a square rail could be a little more intimidating. Now as like you progress into skating rails,
Yeah.
it could be intimidating because now it's just a square. This, you have leverage on like how you get in and how you manipulate the grind.
Yeah, I never thought of it like that, but I know like people would rather crooked grind. Some people would even rather do like sort of a salad 5-0. All of that would be much easier for them than a straight 50-50 because there is that round section and you can go all over the place.
One thing also that I want to mention is this is all honestly like one of the biggest tips to getting out of any grind on a rail is you want to be light-footed.
Yeah.
A lot of the times people try to like do a feeble or 50-50 and it just does that or it does that. You just want to kind of slightly lift off, and it should help a lot of the times with the issue of you flipping your board like that, or like even a crook. You try to crook and it just does that.
Yeah. Now I know it's been wrong my whole life. Mowgli, do you cross lock or do you go in like this?
For frontside 50-50, it's more like heel version.
Yeah.
And backside, it's more of like, if I get in the heel, I can control it, or cross lock, whichever one when I lock in. But I always notice that my back truck kind of goes in first.
Interesting. So that's a pro tip from the pro himself. Put your back truck in first, that'll help you.
I mean, that's just my experience.
If that's your experience and it's working for you, why don't you guys try it and maybe it will work for you. We're not saying you have to do that or have to do any of these advices, but they're just advice. Get out there, skate, have fun, wear your helmet, elbow pads, knee pads, and learn to skate some rails. And let's see your clips. Hashtag Braille Army, leave it in the comments below. All right guys, drop it in the comments below. What tutorials do you want to see? What tricks are you working on? And I got another whole series that takes a beginner from the very basics all the way through kickflip. That's called Boot Camp. Be on the lookout for that. Every single Tuesday will be a new episode and you can follow along with a whole squad of skaters learning how to skate just like you all over the world. You guys are the absolute best. We hope you enjoyed this video. And more than anything, I hope that you learned something from this video and it actually benefited you in some way. You know, I don't want to just make these videos just to make videos. I want to make them because I feel like somebody out there is gaining something from it and improving their lives because we sat here in front of a rail and explained our experiences. So that's what it's all about, getting new people into skateboarding. Hope you guys enjoy it. Check out all those videos right there. Subscribe, like, leave a comment below, and you, yes you, go to brailleskateboarding.com, get yourself a board, and get started skateboarding. We got everything you will ever need. We'll see you in the next video.